We've got some breaking news in that Virginia redistricting election we've been watching so closely. NBC's news decision desk has just projected that Virginia voters have opted to install a new, heavily blue-leaning congressional map. Let's get straight over to NBC's Steve Kornacki at the big board to break down how it went. Steve, what does it look like there? I mean, last time we checked with you, those numbers were jumping, and it looks like we've settled.
Yeah, well, guys, no, I think you saw the sort of the big moment there when the big Democratic area of the state, Fairfax County, just outside Washington, D.C., it was the last to really report out its vote. It started to come in. It's overwhelmingly pro-referendum, supporting the map redraw. And as that vote just kind of steadily came in the last 20 minutes, the whole picture changed here. The yes side took the lead statewide. I suspect this margin is going to grow somewhat as more vote finally trickles in and we get a final result here. It will be a relatively narrow victory for the yes side. You could certainly say here that the Republicans that exist in Virginia, the Republicans were very motivated. They turned out for this. They came very close to defeating this. But, you know, look, ultimately, Virginia, it is still a blue state. The Democrats have a bit of an advantage in any given election over a Republican. And the Democrats got the big numbers they needed in those core Democratic areas tonight to push this thing over to finish line. And the consequences of this in terms of the midterm landscape here are pretty significant, Gotti. I mean, just think of it this way. The House is very close right now. The Republicans control the House, but their majority is razor thin. The Democrats need a net gain in this fall's midterm elections. The Democrats need a net gain of 3 seats to get control of the House. Now, think about this. The current map in Virginia heading into tonight, congressional map, was 6 Democrats and 5 Republicans, right? Now that it's passed, this Democratic map has passed, the new map is likely to be 10 Democrats and just 1 Republican, right? So from 6 to 5 to 10 to 1, that's a net gain for the Democrats just in Virginia from what happened tonight of 4 seats. To win control of the House, they need a net gain of 3. They might have drawn that for themselves tonight and got it approved by the voters.
Okay, guys, so huge news coming out of Virginia from their election last night. One of the things was the ballot initiative to basically redraw the congressional map in Virginia. And right now, I think it's like 5-6 Democrat to Republican. And if they can get their way, it's going to end up being like 10 to 1 or something crazy like that, Democrat to Republican. And of course, the Democrats actually control Virginia with, what's her name? Abigail Spanberger, I think, is the governor now. And this would be amazing if they did. Now, this is kind of in the same vein as what California did with Prop 50, where basically, you know, the Republicans in Texas, at the behest of Donald Trump, were like, we're just going to create 5 new seats for Republicans in Texas just to make it up. You know, hey, we're just gonna, you know, we're gonna give ourselves a 5-point advantage in the state of Texas. And Gavin Newsom saw what was going on, and he said, okay, well, if you're going to do that, we're going to do the exact same thing in California. And what we're going to do is we're just going to cancel out that Texas Republican vote. The difference is that the Republicans in Texas did not go through the electoral process, and in California they did, and the same thing happened in Virginia, and the voters in Virginia said, hell yeah, go for it. Make sure that you make this so that it is a 10 to 1 state or whatever. We want nothing to do with Republicans having any control in this state. So, super big win for Virginia and for the Democrats, but I want to put this caveat in there because this is super important. Having the best shot possible to win back the House and possibly even the Senate in the midterms in 2026, that would be great for the Democrats. And the good thing is that they're not doing this like the Republicans. They're actually putting it to a vote, you know, so they're doing it the Democratic way. They're not just like stealing electoral seats because Trump told them to. But this does not mean a hill of beans if we don't get the correct people in there. And that means that you have to have people running for Congress that actually stand for something and don't halfway agree with Republicans. So what it really comes down to is we have to change leadership, like point blank. The Democrats, the leaders have got to go. Chuck Schumer is absolutely worthless. Okay. Hakeem Jeffries, absolutely worthless. Chuck Schumer just joined with, it was seven Democrats in the Senate that all voted to give more bombs and more bulldozers to Israel. 7 Democrats out of 100, senators and, virtually 50, whatever it is. I think it's like 47 Democratic senators officially or something like that. But they were in the minority. And the issue of Israel in terms of like the Democrats supporting more funding for Israel as an issue with voters, it polls at like 4%. So Chuck Schumer and people like, John Fetterman, that snake, he campaigned as like, a progressive and then immediately got in there and became a Republican. He basically agrees with the Republicans on everything. But like Schumer, for example, you're taking the side of the 4%. The majority of your base does not support this. And so, and it's stuff like this where it's like, you want to like do process criticism of the war in Iran, right? Well, Trump, he didn't have a plan and he doesn't know what the price of oil is going to be in the next month. And he didn't ask us and he really should have come to Congress. And like, this is your criticism. How are you the resistance leader? Okay. And then for Hakeem Jeffries, like he was point blank asked by Wajahat Ali, I think it was on, Joy-Ann Reid's show, like, would you support defunding ICE and abolishing ICE? And he basically wouldn't say that. And he's like, listen, I'm going to say the words that I want to say, and I'm going to continue to fundraise the way that I want to fundraise, okay? And it's like, dude, you're not the leader of this moment. You don't understand that, like, almost all Democrats do not want to see another penny go to ICE. Because they have killed American citizens, they have killed immigrants, they have deported people that should have never been deported, they abuse people in detention centers. It's crazy. Like, we should not send another penny to this rogue frickin' paramilitary private army for Donald Trump. So, with the Virginians voting to expand the electoral map for Democrats, that's a huge thing. And I hope that more democratically controlled states actually follow this model and just put it to a vote and see what people say. But yeah, it gives Democrats a really big leg up in the midterms. But again, it does not mean a hill of beans if they don't change the leadership and they don't change how they like take money. And if it were up to me, I would put somebody like Chris Murphy, for example, is leader in the Senate, or Chris Van Hollen, I like him, or somebody like Ro Khanna as the House Speaker, or like I like Jamie Raskin too. Like they're people, they're a decent number of people that would do a good job, but anybody at this point would be infinitely better than Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. So good news on the day. We don't get it often. Virginia, congratulations. Hopefully more states will follow suit. And that's about all I got on that one. Anyway, like, subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.